Hello everyone, welcome to this really cool EndCycle versus stream where I'll be showcasing you guys how to mod stuff. Okay, I hope my sound quality is somewhat good. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat, so yeah, whatever you guys have to ask, whatever you guys want to ask, you can ask away. I hope everything works and looks good on your end. Yeah, okay. How to mod stuff. Okay. Just check my sound. Okay. I also should switch because right now I have it set up so that you guys can only see the game, but since this is modding, you guys will be able to see my entire desktop. And question not, I have a lot of Mega Man backgrounds. Let me just set that up real quick. Okie doke. Okay, I probably have to change the stream resolution because I think this is somewhat stretched. Yeah, it's stretched. Which is strange because I have it set to 16 × 19. Okay, the stream will be right back up, so excuse the inconvenience. Okay. Okay, now everything should be fine. I like all kinds of Mega Man related things, so the backgrounds will be switching throughout because I have this really cool collection of backgrounds. But let's not focus on Mega Man now. This is EndCycle. Very much so. First of all, let's boot up the game. Let's simply start out as if we would have never modded the game or anything. Okay, so when the game is running, the first thing that you want to do to start modding is you want to press Ctrl, Shift, and F1. This will bring up the EndCycle versus toolbox. Here I already have a mod installed, but let's, for the sake of convenience, uninstall it and say, okay, I never had a mod installed. Okay, so now we want to create a new mod. All we do is type the name of the mod here in this text box. Let's call it stream mod Gals stream mod. Watch out because this name is not allowed to contain any kind of special characters other than or lowercase, uppercase letters, spaces, and numbers. If we try to do that, it will give us a warning that we should only use those symbols. Yeah, so let's create it. I guess one of you guys already took the name while I was making it. Lol. Or something's gone horribly wrong. Why does my game not want to create a new mod? It's always like this. Always like this, I tell you guys. Okay, let's try restarting the game. I hope that the database server is okay, because otherwise I'll just show it to you guys on my own PC. Okay, should be running. Now Gals mod stream. How long will this stream last? I'm guessing half an hour. Spaces should be okay. Yeah, see? Now it works. You can have spaces in the mod name. That's the only special character that's allowed. Okay, so now we created a mod, basically. Now it asks us to restart the game, so that's what we'll do. You just restart the game because it has to basically load the mod into its things. Okay, so now we have EndCycle versus, but this time it's modded. It's our mod basically. Okay, so what I'll be going over first is the drawables, because most of your modding will probably be done in this little editor here. So the thing that I want to be modding into it is I will be making a small Pokemon mod. Let me just pull up this folder. So basically we'll be adding 2 pictures to the mod. Now if we look at this, okay. So I already made a mod with these 2 pictures once, but I'll be remaking it with you guys basically. The 2 sprites we'll be adding is this one and Barfree, so Pikachu and Barfree. Will be first what we want to be adding those images to the mod folder. Now you will find your mod folder under your Steam game files. It's basically wherever you put your Steam library, and then under Steam apps, common, and then EndCycle versus. This is where your mods will be installed. If you want to find it alternatively, you can also just right click the game in Steam, go to properties, and browse under local, go to local files under the properties in properties under the local files tab, and then you press browse local files. They'll also open the browser in this folder. Okay, sorry that I'm going over such basic stuff, but I think like in general it is helpful for some people that might have never modded. So inside of the game folder, you'll now find a mods folder, and inside here you'll find your mod folder, basically the thing that you created. So we'll want to be adding the images into the images folder in here, and you just basically put them anywhere you'd like. You can also create a folder in here or anything. The images already present in here are the images that the game uses. Now if you want to overwrite any of the images from the game or that are already inside, you will want to edit those, but since we'll be adding new ones, we'll just basically place our new images in the images folder. Okay, now the next thing we want to do to add the images or animations into the game, you will be we will press the add drawable button on the top left in this tab. That will basically create a copy of the thing we were currently looking at. So if we wanted to base our new drawable on this one, we would just press the add drawable button while looking at this one, and we'll now have a single frame of the last drawable we were looking at. Maybe I'll make it so that this copies at one point, but for now it's like that. Now we can find our image by simply searching here. Here it is, the Pikachu. Now what you'll notice is that you have this red cursor here. Basically you can use this to select parts of the image. To do that, you just hold shift. I think it only works with left shift. You hold shift and then you select the entire area you want to use for your sprite. When you've done that, you will see that at the bottom, the blue area changed. This indicates where your current data is located on the image, I guess. And if you want to apply that, you'll have to press the apply button. So up there, you still see that it's like the image is like it used to be. Now, if you press apply, it will take our changes and apply them to the actual sprite. Oh, we also want to change the name to something that we can easily remember. Pikachu test, for example. This name can contain any kinds of letters you guys want, so don't feel free to add anything. The only relevant thing is this number besides the name you'll find at the bottom left. You will want to keep an eye on that, because if things are called the same, you will not be able to differentiate them aside from the number. Okay, and now we want to add a second frame, but before that, all battle sprites are usually facing to the right when they're not flipped. So we want to flip this sprite to look to the right, and to do that, you just mark the flip X checkbox. Okay, And then if we want to add another frame after this one, we just press the frame after button. This will automatically try its best to find the next frame. Well, it's not very advanced right now, so we have to help it out. And mark the new sprite that we want. Yeah, I think this is good. Now you'll notice that Pikachu looks like he's jumping back a little. We want to change that, so I will be adding a Shift X. This basically lets you move the animation into a certain direction. It's always good to shift the animation with the smallest size, just as a general rule of thumb. And since this one is 45 pixels wide, we will be shifting the animation with the frame with the 41 width to the right. So we'll just be adding a shift of 4, and that will move it 4 pixels to the right. So it already looks a little better. It's very fast though, so we'll slow it down a little. And I did kind of name the speed attribute a bit wrong. It's actually the duration of each frame. So I'll be renaming that to duration at one point. But yeah, this should be fine. And now we already added a Pikachu animation. Great. Oh, also we'll make it jump a little. So in order to do that, we just increase the shift to, let's say, 2 and apply. And now it already looks a little better because it looks like he's jumping a little. Yeah, you can set the different play modes here. Like if you want to play the animation in reverse or only once, or if you want to make it loop randomly or in a ping pong fashion, you have all the options for that here. Okay, now we save the drawables. Okay, so technically we could be using this single image for things like attacks, like that there would be an attack that would shoot out a Pikachu at the enemies. We don't want to do that because, well, it would be strange to shoot a Pikachu. So instead we'll be creating something called a patchwork. A patchwork is basically a collection of drawables that you put together and form basically an, let's say, an entity out of all the drawables, meaning that you basically have different animations. You have different drawables and you can change which one is currently displayed. This is used for stuff like things you spawn on the battlefield or even the characters themselves. So let's take a look at how we can do that. We can either create one via the Patchwork tab or the Patchwork Meta tab. The Patchwork tab is a bit more complicated. It gives you a lot of freedom to define each and every state of, animation state of the character you're making. But instead we'll be using Patchwork Meta, which is basically a simplified version of the other UI, especially made for Bell characters. So here we press Add Bell Meta, and we just name it somehow. I would call this Pikachu, just because whenever you're selecting a patchwork, you will know it's a patchwork. Yeah, so here's the default state. It's basically the state it will start in. You can have custom states at the bottom here, but for now we'll be just using normal ones. Let's create a new drawable, or at least let's assign the drawable we just created to the idle animation state. So here you just we assigned the Pikachu test to the idle animation. Basically we're already done. We don't need to do anything else really to add it into the game. Here are more options if you want to do anything, but you don't really need them. Yeah, I could also be making a more complicated character, but I think we don't have enough time for that. Okay, so for now, let's just leave it at that. Let's save the Patchwork Meta. Now it should be saved. Yeah, and as you can see here, this mod has the mod ID 37. Yeah, let's continue. Let's create a new character out of Pikachu that you can play as. So to do that, we go to the Bell Entity tab on the top, and press the Add Entity button. Here we can name it. Let's call it Pikachu because it's Pikachu. You don't need a description yet that's one of the things we'll be adding soon, that you can actually see the description of the character you produced. For the patchwork, we can here select one of the existing ones, and for us, only one is relevant, Pikachu. Also, whenever you have any kind of drop-down like this, you can always just start typing and it will automatically start searching for the thing you typed. So here we select Pikachu, and yeah, we assign him the electric element. We say that he has, we can change how much health he has. Let's give him 900 health, but he's also a little bit more powerful, has a little less speed. And we also set his crush a bit higher. Give me 1 second, I have to check something real quick. I think my cats might be destroying something around the house. I'm back. The cats are doing okay. Okay. So now we want to give him we can assign him sound effects depending on for certain attacks in here. So if we had some kind of, let's say, electric sound effect, you would simply we'll pretend we have a sound effect for electricity. So let's use which would be good. Okay, so let's say that I think this sounds horrible. Okay, yeah, this is we'll be using this sound effect. It sounds horrible, I know, but anyways, we'll be using it for the mod. Oh, yeah, 1 second. Okay, my cat is just playing with a toy. It scared me that he might have brought home something. Okay, we'll be using the sound effect for its for the attacks. Yeah, for basically any attack that Pikachu makes. So that will sound really horrible. Actually, let me take a different one because I don't want our ears to bleed. Yeah, we'll take the sword, we'll take the sword sound effect and use it for our attacks. So here, let's pretend this is a new sound effect that we just added. We can name it Pikachu Zap. We can then later also edit it. But now in here, when we want to change his effect for when he, sound effect when he uses things, we can just look for Pikachu and we'll find Pikachu Zap in here. We can also set a special death sound for it. Also, important note, whenever you have a sound, you will notice here that there's a V and a P. The V stands for volume, and you can change how loud it is, and the P stands for pitch, like how high pitched it is, basically. Now we use the sword, so let's set it a little bit lower. Yeah, so now it's gonna be have a lower pitch than usually. We'll make Pikachu visible, so we can see him in the character roster, and he is also a guest character. So we'll tick the guest checkbox. You don't have to do that, but I think it adds a nice flair, so people can see which characters are all modded into it. It's your choice, really. We can give him skills, character skills here, but we won't. Yeah. Let's give him the loaded skill, or what would work well. Okay, let's give him the fuel system skill, just for the sake of it. The loot tab isn't important yet. That will be important at a later time point, though. Not in this stream, though. Okay, so now let's check out our character. We can go to inventory, and if we change here, Pikachu is missing for some reason. That is because we just added all of the the patchworks and the drawables. So in order to properly see everything, you have to go out of the inventory, restart the game, and then you press Ctrl Shift and F6, or is it F5? I'm fairly sure it's there. Ctrl Shift and F6 reloads the image. This Ctrl Shift and F6 basically reloads all the images in the game right now. I don't think we'll be able to see Pikachu yet because you can't reload Drawables. You can't reload patchworks as of the moment of speaking. I'll be adding that functionality soon. But for now, let's just make sure everything is saved. I'm fairly sure I saved everything. And just restart the game to see the new patchworks in the game. Okay. And we have a Pikachu here. Perfect. His stats are as we defined. Oh, we made him nature element. Great. He needs to be electricity. And that should reflect here. Yeah. As you can see, this change is immediately reflected in the game, in the game's data. And we just save it. Okay. Now we have a new character. Now we want to make a fight against him. Now to do that, we first want to create a custom battlefield for that. We simply go to the battlefield tab and press add field. Here we basically can create a field as much as we want. We'll call it Pikachu fight field. You can also make this, you will also be able to add custom fields and custom characters and basically all mods into your own custom servers at one point. And when you do that, you'll probably want to tick the available checkmark here, because checkbox, because basically you won't be able, your players won't be able to select the battlefield without you having checked this, because they won't see it. Okay, now let's create a really tiny battlefield. For that, we just keep removing the fields until it's small enough. And if you press the X, it will remove a field. If you press the P, it will change the color of the field. So we do this, and then we change the fields to be fixed. Fixed basically means that they cannot, their color cannot be changed mid-game. We'll put metal tiles in the middle. Oops, that should be metal. Also here you can just type metal and it will change it. If you want to you can make the battlefield as big as you want to, and there's also an option for the camera to have you, to follow you, the player. Okay, this looks good, so we'll save this. Now we want to create the battle itself against Pikachu. So we'll go to the battle tab and just create a new battle, call it Pikachu fight. Doesn't need a description yet. Here we can select Pikachu fight field. I did save it, right? Yeah, I did save it. Okay, then here we can set the background. We'll set it to the clock's background because it's my favorite background. We can also change the music that's playing. To add new music, you simply go to the music tab, you press the add music button, and then you can configure the file path here, the name of the song that you want it to have in the game, when it loops, at which timestamp, how fast it is. This is only important, this will be important at a later time point as well with a future update. And if there is like a song following it. So basically if you have a song that's made up of multiple files, you can specify the next file here. And you can also assign it a special victory theme if the music is playing and you win. So if we'd want to make, I don't know, a Smash Brothers inspired mod, we could have a separate win theme depending on the current battle theme. And here, if you press this checkmark, which states battle, it will also make the song selectable when people open up a lobby on your custom servers. For now, we won't be adding any new songs though. So we go back to the battlefield, battle tab, and we select voxel generation because it's a dope song. Here we can set the practice checkbox. It's basically, once this is ticked, you'll be able to see the battle in here, but the change won't be applied instantly. You have to re-enter the inventory to see the battle in here. So now we'll see the Pikachu fight thing in here. How do we add music? I think I just showed it to you. There's like this music tab. When you want to add a track, you basically just press add music here. Define the file path, the name of the song, how fast it is when it loops. The BPM isn't that important. And yeah. Okay, so we have to, let's go back to the Battle tab. Here, if you tick the run box, it will basically make the bell, the camera will start following the player when this checkbox is marked, and a lot of attacks will start behaving a little different. That's because it assumes you're in a bell run. You can create your own bell runs, but for now we will not check it. Okay, so we add 2 entity shells. Entity shells is basically bell entities, but wrapped with additional parameters, such as their position on the field. Here we'll just assign the first shell will belong to us, the player. So we'll just check the player mark. We'll mark the player checkbox. Damn. But we won't be adding him. We won't be giving him any ID because the ID for the bell entity will be coming from the vox you select. So basically, the characters we select here is the ID that will be passed on. So we don't need to assign him here anything here. We'll also leave action empty for now. We'll make him friendly, and the enemy opposite of him. I gave him the position 1, which would correspond to this row, but that's actually my bad because he should be on the 0, on the field with the index 0, which is the first one. So we'll be changing that to 0. As for the enemy, we'll be assigning him. We'll be fighting against a Pikachu. He'll be on the 2nd field or the 3rd. He'll be on the 3rd field with the index 2. It's always -1, basically what you enter here. And he'll be on in the middle row, and he'll be turned. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we'll save the bell and try to start it. And as you can see, it all works well. We have a Pikachu fighting against us, and we have a really tiny field that we're on. Now just to test what run does, if you tick the run box, you will the camera will now start following you instead of be static. So as you can see, the camera now follows you as the player. So you can make really big battlefields with a lot of enemies on there. And I'm fairly sure you can also add a condition to win the game, but we'll be looking at that in a different stream or in a different tutorial. For now, let's uncheck the run box. You don't need to check double side unless there is the possibility, unless the player is trapped between tiles. So if there are like enemy tiles left and right of them, then you should check double side because certain walks like area grab will then behave differently. Okay, so let's see, we saved the battle. But now we want the Pikachu to do stuff. We don't want him to just stay still. To do that, we create new actions, basically. An action is basically a collection of moves, and every move has its parameters that you can change. So, for example, moving somewhere would be a move, or using a Vok would be a move, an attack, or turning around would also be an attack. So we add a battle action. We call it Pikachu AI 1 because we can switch the action that the entity has at any moment. Okay, so let's simply make him move up and down so you guys understand it a little better. To do that, we add 2 moves, one to move up and one to move down. Here we set the Y tile parameter to 1. And here we set it to -1. That 1 means it will jump down, and -1 means it will jump back up again. But this won't do anything yet because we didn't define a move here. So to do that, we just basically click this empty drop-down field and select the type of movement that we want. him to have. And we can then set let's give him the animated tile movement, because that's yeah, the most good looking one. You can also make it moving. Moving basically goes from, oh, we can look at it in game. Here we set it to animated tile, and now don't forget to always assign the AI you want the your characters to have on the bell tab. Here you can define what action they have, so their AI basically. So we assign Pikachu the Pikachu AI 1 action that we just created, and now we started. Okay, and now he should be jumping up and down all the time, as you can see. Now let's put the game to the side. Okay. I want to make it so that you can see Pikachu still. Okay. Oh god, this is gonna be great to edit. Whatever, we'll just always shift back to it. So now we have a very hyperactive Pikachu, but we want to make him jump differently. So we don't want him to jump, we want him to transition from one tile to the next. To do that, we just simply go to the actions and we change the animated tile to moving tile. And as you can see, he's now he's sliding down, but he's jumping back up. And if you would want him to slide in both up and down, you could just then set the move type to moving tile for both. Now he's doing this quite fast. We want this to be slower, so we'll be adding some time to the move until if you add time to the move on the top right here, it will basically make the move take at least that amount of time. So if we assign it a second, there's there will always be a second passing before Pikachu will move again. So if we add 1 second to both of them, then we'll see that he moves down and up every second. Okay, you can then also set the move type here. Now the move type is basically if the coordinates that you provided on top, the X tile and Y tile coordinates, if those are basically relative to where he's standing right now, or if that are the coordinates for the whole battlefield. So if we make him move to 0, 0, and we make the move type here absolute, and here as well, Pikachu will, I guess that made his AI stuck just now. That should technically make him jump to the 0, 1 tile. Oh, he can't jump to the 0 tile because that's the red tiles. That's why he's standing still, because he's waiting to jump on the red tiles, but he can't move on the red tiles because he's an enemy. So instead we then assign him the coordinates 2, 1 and 2, 0. Now it should work a little better. Yeah, now it works. So now he's jumping between the tile 2, 0, which is on the very top tile, and 2, 1, which is here. To make him jump between the bottom row and the top row, we then assign him stuff here. You can also make the position relative to the enemy if you use the move type target. So here, if we want to Pikachu always to move 1 tile in front and 1 tile below us, we just basically make the move type target. Yeah, that's okay, it works now. And then you'll see that Pikachu will always be jumping between the tile beneath me and in front of me. So if I move here, he'll always stay relative to where I am. Yeah, and that's how you move him. Now, if you want him to use attacks, you will want to then basically just assign a Voc here. To give him custom attacks, you just create your own Vocs basically, and he just uses those. So here, let's give him the QD shot, which is basically just, or let's give him the push Voc. And you'll see that he always moves into my tile and now uses the push attack. Ow, that was evil. Yeah, so we create a very nasty AI here right now because he just basically keeps pushing me 1 row behind. Okay, now let's give him a custom attack that's more befitting of Pikachu himself. and make him move between these two tiles. Okay, now we set the move type back to relative. Or actually, let's make this absolute and make him move between top and bottom. So we assign the correct coordinates here. Now you can also make him turn when he uses an attack. To do that, you simply mark this turn checkbox and set his turn type. You can either make it be absolute and have the turn checkbox turn Pikachu in a certain way, or you make it relative, that will only turn him if this checkbox is marked, or you set it to target, and target will always make Pikachu face you, basically wherever you are. If you're behind him or in front of him, it will move. It will make him look towards you. Unless you check the turn box, then it will make him look away from you. Okay, now we want to give him an electric attack. So to do that, we go to the VOC tab, which is, I think, one of the last few tabs we have left. We add a VOC here. We name it something like Thunderbolt. There we go. And we assign it the shoot attack. To do that, we just basically go here below to the attack field, and we enter shoot. And now when we selected that, we can press refresh here. And that will basically show us all the possible attributes we can change about the shoot attack. Now we want to make it go, we want to make it into an electric ball. So we look for elec, and hey look, there's an electro ball already. We can look, that's a drawable, by the way, that will be shooting. So how will the shot look like? To look that up, we just go here and also type for elec, that's the electro ball, and it will look pretty much like this. Now, to call the attack down B is a good idea, but because we're not referencing Smash, we're referencing the original games, we'll be calling it Thunderbolt. Let's give it, yeah, so now we defined the electro ball in here. We want it to be white, or rather, if you change the color here, it will multiply the colors with that color, so it can become more red or blue or whatever you make it. Here, that's what I mean. You can also change the scale of how big the attack will be, but we don't need that for now. Let's leave everything at the default parameters and check out how the attack looks like at the moment. By simply going to the actions, and instead of push, we now select the Thunderbolt attack we just created. We assign it to both moves, and let's restart the bell and see how it looks like. Okay, very aggressive. Now, as you will be able to see, this attack doesn't damage me or do anything really. It just shoots an electric ball. To change that, we just simply go to the attack, and now we can assign the attack a certain power. So let's give it a power of 100, and it will also have a crush power of 100. Now, the next time he gets me, it damages me, but as you saw, it doesn't hit stun me or anything. So to add hit stun, or basically any poison or any kind of negative or positive status ailment, we add an ailment inflict. Now we add an ailment inflict, and we select stun. We can, for stun, we can either select intensity or duration. In this case, it's both the same. So let's assign it as value of 0.5. This equals 0.5 seconds of stun. Now, the next time he hits me, I'm stunned for 0.5 seconds and I can't move. Okay, great. Now, oh wait, you guys haven't even been hearing the song from this. Yeah, you guys haven't been hearing the game at all. Now it should be a little better. I hope this isn't messing with my mic quality. I'll be checking it out in a second. I hope this isn't messing with my mic quality. Okay. It looks like it's okay. Okay, I'll be making it a little bit more sound though. Okay. Great. Now we save the Thunderbolt attack. Whoa, I'm still, my volume was still turned on the stream tab. Okay. And now we want to make it only go for 4 fields forward. A lot of these variables I can explain to you, but it will take a long time. So my recommendation is that you just try around, see what you like, what you don't like. You can add multiple shots to the attack. You can add a limit. That's what I just did, because I want to make it only go 4 panels in front. As you can see, the shot now only travels for 4 panels. We can also give him a special shot sound, but we don't have to. Here you can again set the volume and pitch of the sound that's gonna play. And you can also change the shadow. Now, if we pause the game, you can see that the shadow is too far down. It actually has to be further up. So, and just in general, this attack is very close to the ground. So to do that, we just change the shadow offset Y here, and we make that into, let's say, something like 6. Okay, now it already looks better. Yeah, now it looks like the shot is traveling barely above the ground. Okay, let's ignore all the other parameters for now, because there's one more I want to show you, and that's the level. You can set the attack, the level of the attack that Pikachu is using. That will prevent him from spamming it as often as he wants to. So if we make it level 2, you will now notice that he's not firing the attack as often as he should be, because instead he's always just waiting for a chance to use his he basically has the same type of the same gauge as we do now. Now if we use attacks, you can see our gauge regenerating. You can also imagine Pikachu having that exact thing on yeah, you can imagine Pikachu having the same exact thing, but you can't see it because he's basically not showing it in any way. Yeah, now let's set this back to levels. If you want to make the AI ignore these levels in the background, you can just check the ignore gauge button. That will make him spam the attack like before, as you can see. And you can also randomize his moves to make him go to make him basically move a bit more unpredictable if you'd like. So instead, let's make him move up and down, but randomize his moves. That will basically make it random whether or not he moves up and down, and which of the moves he's using. But oh, did I set this both to -1, 1 relative? Ah, and of course we have to disable horizontal movement here. Okay, now he should be randomly moving up and down, or he's stuck. I think he might be stuck, so let's restart battle. Yeah, and now he's basically moving up and down randomly and shooting depending on where he is right now. Okay, a little bit harder already, but that's cool. And you can also make him auto-turn. So if we now use Rush Sword to get behind him somehow, you could make the AI turn towards you automatically. You can also set who it targets first. If you're playing the game locally with friends and you want to make a boss for you to fight together, you can basically create you can basically change who the AI will target first, either you or the person furthest away from them, or the one with the lowest HP, or the one with the highest HP. Yeah. Now let's say we want to give him a second state when he reaches 600 HP. We just basically add another battle action. We call it Pikachu AI 2, and we want this AI to heal itself. So to do that, we'll create a new VOC for him to heal himself. So it's called regeneration, let's say. I know it's not a Pokemon attack, but whatever. Now what this attack does, it's an ailment inflictor. Ailment inflictor is basically only directly applies whatever attack the person uses or the entity uses on itself. So now we select the heal, and we want him to heal for 100 or 50, because that's a bit more balanced. And we'll assign it level 1. Next we will make... I think we're done. Oh yeah, the target type is really important here, because the Element Inflictor automatically inflicts all people with the selected target type. So here we want him to only heal himself, so we set the target type to self. And yeah, I think we're done with this attack. Now let's make a move that Pikachu uses to basically restore health. Here we just select regeneration and nothing else, because he basically just spams regeneration while he's on low HP. And now we want to transition from the first AI into the second. So from the moving up and down to him using the regeneration. To do that, we just add a change data. Here you can select how much health Pikachu should have when he switches, or how many moves he should use until he switches, or if the attacks can, or if he should only switch when the attacks go empty, or moves going empty. Yeah, that's something I didn't mention. Moves can also have a certain amount of uses. That's written right here. And if we, for example, make Thunderbolt have 10 uses, he'll only be able to use Thunderbolt 10 times before he cannot use it anymore. So for that, we can then here check the on empty box. That basically makes it so that when all of Pikachu's moves are empty, he automatically switches actions. Okay, yeah, let's just select here. Let's go to Pikachu. Let's make him change to Pikachu AI 2. So that's the action we'll be switching to, and it happens when he reaches 30% health, or for our test purposes, when he reaches 70% health. Now he should switch to regenerating when he now has 70% of 900 HP. So let's just test that out real quick. If I would be able to attack him well. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, now he can't move anymore. Now this should work. And as you can see, he's now just healing himself back up again. Oh, regeneration somehow. That's interesting. I think we just found a bug. But basically, he's now stuck. I don't know why. But let's give him, let's make him change back when he healed himself 5 times. To do that, we just basically add a data, a change data, and we set his moves to 5. Basically, when he uses 5 moves, he has to change back. Not back, but we'll actually make a new AI that now cannot change back to the healing. So let's call it Pikachu AI 3. So when he healed himself 3 times, he'll switch to the third type of AI, and this one basically just jumps up and down all the time without any attacks left. Okay, don't forget to set the move speed, the move type if you want him to move. Okay, so now let's restart the. Ooh, the game is stuck. When the game is stuck, you can always press Q, E, Enter, and Escape to restart it. So I think we're fairly done. Oh, that's the wrong bell. Pikachu fight. Okay. And now he's using the Thunderbolt attack. Let's check if we really did set everything correctly. Pikachu AI 2 switches after 5 moves to Pikachu AI 3, and Pikachu AI 3 doesn't use attacks but only jumps up and down. Let's save this, just in case. Okay, so now we can do this, and now he heals himself 5 times and gets stuck. Apparently he gets stuck after using regen 5 times. For whatever reason, that's cool. QE, Enter, and Escape to restart the game, but those are also bound in the settings menu. Okay, so apparently for some reason whenever Pikachu uses the heal move 5 times, or how many times he gets stuck, so instead let's give him a time that it takes for him to use regeneration. Maybe that will help. Otherwise, I now have the error log from this, so I'll be able to fix it. If any of you guys can also reproduce the bug, that would be tons of help. Oh, wrong bell yet again. Let's see if it works now. Okay, he didn't reach critical status yet. Come on, move on the mine. Move on the mine. There we go. And now he should heal himself. Hey, now it works. And now after healing himself so many times. Ah, okay, I think it's stuck switching the state. Cool. Good to know. Probably we did something wrong here, or it's a bug from my end. Either way, I think that's basically all I wanted to show you guys. Seems like the bug is caused by something happening when he switches state after an amount of moves. I'm guessing the amount of moves doesn't reset itself. I'll fix that in one of the coming builds, so for now just basically create your AI the way you want it. You can also make the AI switch whenever it's interrupted, or when the panel it's on becomes inaccessible. Or when it tries to move onto an inaccessible panel, rather. So if the enemy tries to move onto, let's say, a panel that's empty, they obviously won't go there. So instead, they could trigger a change in their AI whenever that happens. Okay, now let's create our own battle background as the very last thing. To do that, we just go to the background tab. We enter new BG. We can change the frames of the tiles that we're on. As you can see, this background has different frames, different panel frames than the normal one. We can edit those here. And then we can also add more frames, but this time it's not, actually I should call these panel frames. But we can basically add frames for the background. Let me show you what I mean. Let's delete this one. Save the backgrounds already, and then go to the bells and select the new BG. Now if we restart the game again, we can go to inventory and train, and now if we select the Pikachu fight, you'll see there is no background anymore. That's what we wanted, because we're not creating a new background. Basically the way the backgrounds work is you have frames and you can stack those on top of each other. So if we want a base frame of, like, let's say the stars that we had before, we just add a frame here, and we go so we add a frame and we look for stars. Let's see, intro battle BG stars, and now you can see the stars here in the background, these little three things. But we want the other star background, which is, let's see, is it this? No, intro battle BG, there we go. This is basically this small rectangle here that we just created. It doesn't move and it doesn't do anything really, but we want to make it repeat. So we wanted to make it repeat really nicely. So to do that, we just look up the stars. There we go. Intro battle BG. It was intro battle BG there, and we can see that it's 64 pixels wide and 64 pixels high. So we want to make that tile repeat. So we just assign the repeat variable here, and if we look into the game, you can already see that it's now stretching horizontally. To make it stretch vertically, you can also just assign the Y repeat here, and when we did that, we have a nice background. Now let's give it a speed so it moves. We can just assign the speed here, and you'll see that it nicely goes upwards all the time. We can also set its horizontal alignment and vertical alignment, but we don't really need that right now. Let's add another frame, but we'll do something funny with that I already did with Daniel once. We select the tile logo, and we want to just pull the E from there, and we call this drawable E. And we select the E right here. There. Now we want to make it one less. There we go. Now we have the E, and we want to E the background. So we we add the drawable E as a frame, and now you'll see that there's an E here, but it's way too big. So we want to make it be way smaller. now for it to refresh, yeah, it should now be really small. Now we have an E right here. So now we make it repeat every 64 times 64. Now we have a lot of E's, that's great. We can also make it repeat more often because more E's are always great. There. Now we have a lot of E's. And now we make them move horizontally to the left. So we just assign it a Y speed here. And now they're moving to the left. Great. Now we can also increase the speed here and make it go as fast as we want it to. Ah, beautiful. Now if that isn't a good background, I don't know what is. I am a proud mod creator. That is a lot better. Let's make it go minus 500. Perfect. Maybe 300. Okay, there we go. Now my eyes are actually getting destroyed by this. Oh, you can also add both vertical and horizontal speed. Perfect. E. A lot of E. Let's see. Let's E here. Ha 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 ha. This is the point where I'm almost basically done with the tutorial. And that's why, yeah, I think we handled each and every tab now. If we want to make the background visible for online play, we also have to check it, to add the check mark here. And you can also change the tile background by changing the versus tile screen background here. If you want to make a customized intro background, basically. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, we created a really cool mod. Oh, yes, of course, the most important thing. Now we want to share the mod with others. To do that, we simply go to the mod manager, and you'll see that it has a lot of buttons here. Backup basically creates a backup of your mod if you ever feel like you want to have a copy of it. And that's a developer copy, basically. So no one, so keep the backup copied for yourself. You probably don't want to share your developer copy of the build with anyone else, of the mod. But if you just want to share it with others, you just press the share button here, and it should, when the screen is small enough, it will say zipped mod gals mod stream to wherever your game is right now. So let's look it up. Ah, and there we go. We have a modstream.zip, which is 88 kilobytes big. In here you'll find basically all of the data that the mod requires to work. It's all of the data that we basically changed. So now let's say we're a person that wants to try out this mod. We simply just disable the mod for now. And then we install the mod we just created. To do that, we just copy this path. There. And you don't have to worry about the mod that you now press share on to replace your data, because your data is basically in the dev version. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you install the Gals mod stream zip that we just created, you'll see that it's called Gals mod stream v1, so it won't have any conflicts with our developer mods that we just created. Okay, now let's close the game. This is now automatically saved, and as you can see, all the other tabs are now locked out because we're not developing a mod anymore. Now let's start the game. You can either start it from the exe file or from Steam, but I advise you to start it through Steam because then everything will work better, I guess. Okay, and now if we go to the inventory, we'll see that Pikachu is still here because we just installed the mod that we created. I'll be uploading the mod and sharing it with you guys so you guys can also install it. And now if we go to the train mode and select the Pikachu fight, we'll now have a buggy Pikachu fight. We forgot to save the fact that the background is different in the battles. So let's fix that real quick. We disable the mod, we enable the real one, we restart the game. Then we go to the toolbox, we go to the bells, select the Pikachu fight, set the background and save. And now it should work again. Always forget, yeah, always remember to save. Yes. Well, let's see here, Pikachu fight. There we go. Looks great. Aside from the low HP bug. Yeah, that concludes the mod tutorial. I'll be sharing the build of the mod with you guys. I hope you could like follow me and it was somehow well explained. Yes, for now let's share this mod and uninstall the stream one that we made before and install it. Still v1. The version numbers will be an addition at one point, but for now every mod you share with others is just automatically gonna be called v1. Okay, so we close the game, we close everything, we restart it. Yeah. Okay, and then we should have Pikachu now still, and if we select the Pikachu fight, we'll have the E background. Perfect. Yeah. Well, it was... yeah, okay. So I hope you guys understood most of what I was talking to you about. We'll still be making text tutorials for whoever doesn't want to watch an hour-long video, but for now, it's, I think, good that we have like this created. So without further ado, thank you guys for your attention, and I'll be seeing you guys on our Discord, hopefully. Yeah. Have a nice one.